Betty Bromage is 97 years old, suffered a stroke a year ago, and then on Tuesday she did something you probably can't do. Researchers found it's not hardship itself that leads people to conspiracy theories, it's what the hardship does to how you see the world. And a bookstore in California received a bubble-wrapped package on Monday containing a first edition book stolen 40 years ago, a handwritten apology, and $100. This is News Side Quest, the show for people who want to know what else happened today besides what everyone is currently furious about. I'm Keith Conrad. Let's close out the week. Betty Bromage is a former nurse who lives in Cheltenham, England. She has been wing walking, standing on top of a biplane in flight strapped to the upper wing while the plane performs maneuvers since she was a young, spry 87 years old. She completed her latest stunt on Tuesday when she was 97 years old and 127 days, breaking her own Guinness World Record for the oldest female wing walker. She previously set the record at the age of 93. Her latest flight raised money for the stroke unit at the Cheltenham General Hospital, where staff treated her after she suffered a stroke in August of last year. The stroke still affects her speech, though she says the rest of her is fine. She said, quote, "I just got bored of life otherwise. I can't drive, I can't see very well, and I can get a bit frustrated, so I want to do things I can do." It's a good attitude. So, not the things she used to be able to do, not the things she wishes she could do, the things that she actually can do. At 97, with impaired vision, limited mobility, and a stroke affecting her speech, the thing she can do is strap herself on top of a biplane and fly over Gloucester for a Guinness record. She said, quote, "The only problem is getting on the wing because I'm quite short. Once you're up there, no problem. The fairground is a lot worse. I'll have to think of something when I'm 100. Something special. More special than that." It's nice to see people who refuse to stop living, no matter where they are in life or what's happened to them. At 97 years old, I'd be happy enough just walking on firm ground, let alone on a moving airplane. What's the thing you've told yourself you're too old for, whatever age you are, that Betty Bromage just might make you reconsider?
Get off my plane.
University of Nottingham researchers published 3 studies in the British Journal of Psychology this week involving more than 1,200 participants, and the finding is worth understanding because it reframes a conversation that usually gets stuck at people are gullible. Apparently, people who experience greater hardship throughout their lives may become more susceptible to conspiracy theories when those experiences lead them to see the world as fundamentally unfair. Across the studies, they found consistent evidence that perceptions of injustice help explain the relationship between lifetime adversity and conspiracy beliefs. Dr. Daniel Jolly, the lead researcher, said, quote, "Our findings suggest it isn't hardship alone that matters, but how those experiences shape the way people see the world. When adversity leads people to feel that the world is fundamentally unfair, conspiracy theories may become more appealing because they offer an explanation for that injustice." The researchers note that not everyone who suffers embraces conspiracy theories. What matters most is not the hardship itself, but how the person interprets the hardship. Those who see their suffering as evidence that life is fundamentally rigged seemed most vulnerable to conspiratorial thinking. I'll let you sit with that one for a minute. This distinction between experiencing hardship and concluding that the world is fundamentally unjust is the one I want to spend some time on because it connects directly to yesterday's misinformation study. That research found that removing false content from social media didn't actually change people's beliefs because beliefs are shaped by something deeper than the content they're consuming. The study actually says what that deeper thing is, a worldview about whether the world is fair or rigged. Conspiracy theories are not primarily an information problem, they're a problem of how people explain what happens to them. When something bad happens, the mind needs a story to make sense of it all. For most people, that story involves some combination of bad luck, systemic failure, or personal agency. But for people who have been shaped by enough hardship to conclude that the world is fundamentally rigged against them, A conspiracy theory with its clear villains and a coherent explanation, or at least somewhat coherent, offers something that random bad luck doesn't, an account that makes sense of the suffering. The study also found wider implications for societal trust. Greater lifetime adversity was associated with stronger perceptions of injustice, which were linked to higher endorsement of political conspiracy beliefs and in turn, lower trust in institutions. This makes a lot of sense. Vulnerability makes it easy to fall down rabbit holes when you're trying to make sense of something bad that happened to you. The research backs that up. It's not the event, it's what the event does to your model of how the world works. So has going through a genuinely hard period in your life ever made you more susceptible to a particular kind of thinking that you later realized wasn't such a good idea?
Okay, here's what we've got. The Rand Corporation, in conjunction with the Saucer People, thank you, under the supervision of the Reverse Vampires, are forcing our parents to go to bed early in a fiendish plot to eliminate the meal of dinner. We're through the looking glass here, people.
Monday afternoon's delivery to Booklegger in Old Town Eureka contained a small mysterious package. The contents were bubble wrapped and the handwritten return address was illegible, so the owner had no idea if what they were getting was promotional material about a book or who knows what. Inside was a first edition book by Edward Gorey, a beloved and collectible author and illustrator known for darkly whimsical pen and ink work. There was also a handwritten note and a $100 bill. The note identified the writer as a young man who stole the book approximately 40 years ago when he was 18 or 19 years old. He apologized. He included the $100 bill as restitution. The return address was deliberately illegible. He didn't want to be identified just to make it right. The bookstore owner posted about the return on social media, and response was immediate. People were moved not just by the gesture, but by the specificity of it all. This person had been carrying this particular conscious weight for 4 decades, and at some point in the last few months decided that that had gone on long enough. Sure, you send it back after you read it for 40 years. I see how it is. He did read it for 40 years. He also eventually did send it back, which is more than most people would do with things they've taken that didn't belong to them, especially if they'd gotten away with it for 40 years. This connects to a few other stories we've been talking about this year. Luis Salazar returning $30,000, Anil Kochar paying off 202 student loans in honor of his father, the woman who spent years biting her husband's toes to help him recover from a brain injury. That's love, by the way. The thread isn't really about grand gestures. It's about small, specific, delayed acts of conscience that take more courage than they look like they should. So is there something you've been meaning to make right for longer than you'd like to admit? You don't have to name it, I just want to know what's out there.
My lips are sealed.
A man in Wales was arrested after dressing as the Grim Reaper and standing on a hospital roof staring at patients through the windows. Listen, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'd be lying if I said this one didn't make me laugh, but that is one of those cases where don't do that is the correct and complete analysis. The man was arrested. The patients were understandably not amused.
Death stalks you at every turn!
Grandpa?
Well, it does. There it is! Death!
It's only Maggie.
Oh, yeah. You know, at my age, the mind starts playing tricks. So, death!
That's only the cat.
Oh, death!
That's Maggie again, Grandpa.
Oh, where were we? Death!
Scientists have gene-edited beagles to be hypoallergenic, modifying the gene responsible for the primary allergenic protein in dog hair and dander. The goodest of hypoallergenic boys. The research is preliminary and the dogs are not yet available.
Hail science!
Neil Armstrong's childhood home in Ohio, where he reportedly first became fascinated with flight, is for sale. I feel like you could look at it 2 different ways. Either it gave him amazing childhood memories that brought him joy for the rest of his life, or the experience there was so bad he had to go all the way to the moon to escape it.
I can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here.
down! Get a hold of yourself!
Americans are turning away from plant milks and are turning to dairy, with oat milk, almond milk, and other alternatives all seeing declining sales while dairy milk is stabilized. Rightfully so, you can't milk a plant.
I had no idea you could milk a cat.
Oh yeah, you can milk anything with nipples.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
That's it for New Side Quest, 3 questions to head into your weekend. The thing you've been told you're too old for that Betty made you reconsider, whether hardship has ever made you more susceptible to a particular kind of thinking, and whether there's something you've been meaning to make right for longer than you'd like to admit, although you would have to admit it. Email me at newsidequest@gmail.com or visit the Substack comments. Have a good weekend. See you on Monday.